This is called ranking this year's craziest Wall Street Bets trades.
User trading his way to homelessness to another user making $30 million, we're going to rank this year's 10 craziest trades. Raspberry Ketchup is a user who made his first ever options trade without even knowing what the heck options were. Back on June 6th, when GameStop was going bonkers, Raspberry Ketchup was feeling extreme FOMO. He decided that he should get in on some low-risk fun by buying calls that expired the next day. You might be thinking low risk and 1 DTE options don't really go together, but Raspberry Ketchup did, mainly because he didn't know what options were. He thought that options contracts were only for one share, when in reality they're for 100, of course. Since he didn't know this, he went ahead and bought 100 calls at the $34 strike price. He thought that this trade would only cost him $181, not $18,000. Raspberry Ketchup entered the position and somehow didn't realize that he just dropped $18K. Regardless, he went about his day as usual. After coming back from a peaceful picnic and a productive day at work, he whipped out his phone and was dumbfounded by what he saw. His $18,000 position was now worth $127,000. This really does seem like it was his first and only trade, because 6 months later...
Okay, this right here, this is an example of a bad trade. It's a bad trade that turned into a winning trade, right? He had no idea what he was doing. He didn't have a plan. He just bought something, buy anything, and it happened to work out for him. That, my friends, is a bad trade.
He has never returned to the subreddit. Accidentally 7xing your money is insane, but this is actually the most tame trade of the video. I ordered this list so that the trades only get crazier and crazier, so get ready. Wall Street Chicken is a user who accidentally got himself fired for getting a bit too comfortable in the workplace. Wall Street Chicken has been posting due diligence to the subreddit for a few months, but after getting fired, he thought that the best course of action was to start YOLO-ing his mother's retirement fund. This was a pretty dangerous move considering Wall Street Chicken is an avid Wall Street Bets consumer. Nonetheless, Wall Street Chicken started selling options and buying Tesla, SMCI, and Nvidia.
Hang on, he said selling options than buying, so I'm not sure. There might be a little description breakdown. Hopefully it clears that up.
Wall Street Chicken's investments immediately started paying off, but things weren't going so well at work though. Let's just say that Wall Street Chicken really put the chicken in Wall Street. He commented, "In my defense, I had no idea my employer had security cameras." Wall Street Chicken was in a virtual meeting and just so happened to spill his tea. This is when he started to get a little bit too wild though and took everything off covering his lower half. Once again, probably a bit too much for work, but he didn't think much of it since there was no way anyone could see what he was hiding off camera. Little did he know, his job had security cameras. His family jewels were exposed and security guards caught him.
What? That story doesn't make any sense to what's going on at Wall Street Bets. Okay.
On cam. Wall Street Chicken left on good terms, but now he had to move into a spare room at his mom's since he no longer had a stable income. Despite his workplace blunder, Wall Street Chicken's mom's portfolio has been looking better than ever. Up about 180% in 3 months, he felt great to be able to help out his mom. His father passed away not too long before this, so this money would definitely help give her an easier retirement. Except, he started to make ridiculous trades. A week later, he went from being up 50% on his Tesla trade to down 140% by selling puts. He lost 17K in a...
Okay, so he was selling the puts. Okay. Please never sell options. I can't express that anymore at this stage of my life. Selling options, you're going to make so little for so much risk. To that point, what he just said, he lost a 140%. That means he lost more than his initial investment. Yeah, let that sink in.
Day. He didn't post any more screenshots of his portfolio until November 26th. He was once again down 13K in a day with Tesla. No worries though, he says he'll just make her some tea and watch Downtown Abbey again. 2 days later, he lost another 7K. He then revealed that this was actually only 10% of her Roth and that she actually wasn't being put into too much danger. She actually holds 3,500 shares of Tesla, which is worth over $1.5 million. Jesus Nados is someone who became an overnight millionaire on an options trade while in college. Jesus wasn't always rich though. He was able to go to college for free since he qualified for financial aid. He also had 18K in his Fidelity portfolio that he was ready to let grow. Overall, things were looking pretty good for Jesus, but his life would take an unexpected turn. He ended up failing all of his classes, which led to him dropping out. After realizing his future was on a bit of a decline, he decided to put all of his efforts into learning how to code. After 2 years of this academic grind, he finally landed a coding job. He worked until he saved up $70,000. He took this hard-earned 70K and dumped it all into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's rise in 2024 brought his portfolio to 100K. Jesus had successfully achieved a six-figure net worth at 18, but he wasn't ready to give up just yet. He took his whole portfolio and YOLO'd it on Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu's rally early on in March sent him all the way up to 250K. Jesus realized he had gotten insanely...
I love these kind of stories. I love them so much. Like, type a L in the chat if you also love these kind of stories. Like, I could watch this all day, not only for the feel goods of, oh man, they lost way more than I did, right? But also I love to hear the inspirational stories of like, wow, this is so cool. I can't believe that you really can make this kind of money in the market.
Lucky and decided that it was time to stop being so risky. That's until 3 months later, he saw the bull break out of its cage, and GameStop's rally had Jesus feeling like he was gonna miss out. He fired up Robinhood and YOLO'd his life savings on AMC calls. Jesus was instantly on edge. AMC was trading at about $3.50, so he needed AMC to jump about $1 for his calls to be in the money. Jesus was worried. AMC kept rising, but he felt like it was.
So he needs his calls to go up by like 25% to get into the money. Which is one of the reasons that I don't do anything out of the money. No way. Lots of L's. But wait a minute. Megatroy threw a W, right? Well said, Megatroy. Not really learning anything. The learning is coming from Chris in the commentary. So I guess judging this video so far, it's an A. Oh, thank you very much, Nate. Yeah, that's actually what I like to do with these is like, oh, let me see what happened. We kind of broke this down a little bit ago with Tom Nash. He had a video about a DJT trade. And very similar style to this. Yeah, I could watch these all day. In fact, there was one day when I was out polishing my Tesla, enjoying my car out in the garage, getting all hot and sweaty, doing manly things. And I had this on my headphones for probably 3 hours. I was just enjoying myself.
Was due for a crash any minute. He knew that there was nothing he can do about it since the market was already closed, so he got into bed and got ready for some much needed rest. Except he was not able to sleep. He was up until 1 a.m. when he finally peacefully hit the hay. Until he bolted up from his bed at 4 in the morning. Jesus was only able to catch 3 hours of peaceful Z's before AMC woke him back up. He knew that all he can do now was wait, and that's what he did until the trading.
So if you ever can't sleep at night from trading, you're too big. You are just way too big. You might need to go in the next morning and just cut half of it off. Yes. Kamikaze Cash is another one that I watched on this. Yeah. This one's called Yummers, but yeah, Kamikaze Cash is on my list as well. Yeah. If you can't sleep at night, you are too big. Just period fact, right? Because if you are trading in the right size, and that size is up to you. I can't tell you how big of it is, how big that's going to be. But if you can trade to the right size, you don't have to stress. I remember one time I was putting my son Elliot to bed, and I just had this overwhelming dread come over me. I mean, like broke out into cold sweats immediately. And I was like, if the market crashes tomorrow, I'll never financially recover from this. I don't know why I had that thought. The market didn't crash, and it wasn't like even it's a downtrend or anything like that. But I was just way, way, way too big. And that was a real wake-up moment for me.
Trading bell rang at market open. Jesus opened up Robinhood and was greeted by his now $1.2 million portfolio. Despite having over $1 million to invest, Jesus makes the responsible decision to keep working his job and go to college. After making a post to the Fire subreddit, he revealed his plans on meeting with tax and financial advisors. He still lives with his parents and doesn't have any debt. He would like to invest his fortune to make even more money. He says that he doesn't want to retire yet and wants to keep working for now. 7 months later, he hasn't made a single new post to Reddit, so it seems like he really did vanquish any urge to YOLO the money. Speaking of Vanquish, Vanquish Trader, the sponsor of today's video, offers a sim-to-fund prop firm platform where you can start with up to $300,000 in simulated funding for stocks and options. Vanquish
we're going to skip this ad here.
Trader gets the activation fee, by the way, and find the link down below. Grade computer class stock competition by completely YOLOing his whole paper account into Sony stock. This strategy would carry on into his later years. Mixmaster Meat was now 30 years old and he was done paper trading. He was trading real money. In the summer of 2023, he says that he had the bright idea to ask his girlfriend for $25,000. He said he wanted to put this money into a trading account so he can enable margin, but that he would never actually use this money to make any trades. He also threw in $5,000 of his own money to actually fund the trades he was going to do. Things started off pretty good for Mixmaster Meat. By day trading SPY and Tesla options, he was able to go from $5,000 to $25,000. This boosted his confidence and made him feel like a quote-unquote master trader. Like every other master trader, he began losing thousands of dollars per day. He got to...
But the thing is that when you do have those really high moments in the market, you do start to take unnecessary risks. You do abandon your plan because you think, oh, I am such a genius. I don't need my plan anymore. My plan got me here, but I don't need it today or anything like that. I'm just gonna wing it. Yeah, that even if he had a plan, even if he was the greatest trader in the world, you've still got to make sure that you follow your plan. At the end of the day, your plan will be your savior at the end of the day.
to the point where he lost $35K, with $10K of that being from his girlfriend. Mixmaster Meat was a bit shaken up, but he wasn't completely discouraged. With only $15K left, he decided to YOLO his whole portfolio on Tesla calls. Luckily for him, Elon Musk came through and took the value of his portfolio back to $30K. His girlfriend never even knew that he had briefly lost her money, but that didn't matter to him. He was back in the game. Being back in the game, he started to lose thousands of dollars again, just before his portfolio came completely.
As soon as he's back in the game, he starts losing again. This is the boom and bust cycle that we went through the other day on the Pat Baloney trading mindset video. This is the boom and bust cycle they're talking about.
Crashing down, he YOLO'd his portfolio into Target. This YOLO took his account to 6 figures in the matter of a day. Feeling overjoyed, he threw $30K into out-of-the-money 0-day till expiration SPY options.
Whoa.
He also took out enough money to pay back the amount that his girlfriend initially lended him. This turned out to be a pretty smart idea because he would end up completely blowing the account. With $0 in his account, he made the decision that any master trader would make. He took out a high-interest personal loan to start trading in a whole new account. He borrowed $25K and YOLO'd it on 0-day till expiration options. The master trader ended up destroying his account a second time. Only this time, it wasn't even his own money, or his girlfriend's. He now has to pay back $1,356 per month to just get out of his debt. 9 months later.
Oh. Dude, know your risk, folks. Know your risk. Goodness.
He hasn't posted any new screenshots of his portfolio, but he has posted about some issues with his tenant. Good to know he still has a home. Back on June 3rd, SDF-IT made his grand debut to WallStreetBets to let us know about his master plan. Bath & Body Works was set to report earnings the very next day, and SDF practically had insider info. SDF had been on paternity leave for 5 months. He used this as the perfect opportunity to do some makeshift market research with his newborn options trading baby, of course. Every single day, he took his newborn baby to 3 different malls to scope out the Bath & Body Works stores for a couple hours. SDF would keep track of how many bags he saw people walking out with, and even walked inside to count how many items people had in their carts at times. After doing this for 124 days, he gathered some solid data. He found that Bath & Body...
Holy moly. Now that's dedication. That is dedication. Going to 3 different malls a day for 124 days to count how many bags that these women are walking out of the stores with. Because let's be real here. None of us guys are going into Bath & Body Works. And that was his basis for investing. Okay. You know, William O'Neill is famous for saying, I believe it was Ollie's Bargain Outlet. He would do something similar. He would go to Ollie's Bargain Outlet, and William O'Neill is one of the market wizards, and see how much people were buying and things like that. But man, I don't think it's going to end well. It could end up being amazing. No super chats. I'll get to that in just a minute.
Works had a much livelier store than the other ones in the mall and was doing similarly to Sephora. SDF concluded his thorough research and bought $20,000 worth of shares and $8,000 worth of calls that all expired by next week. With all of this research, there was no way things could backfire. But of course, things backfired and the stock fell by more than 12% the following day. The company had beat expectations, but overall guidance.
So all of this work, all of this effort, everything that he put into it, 124 days into going to 3 different malls with his newborn, is down 12% the next day. That's what I mean. All stocks are bad. But every once in a while they act right. Every once in a while they act right.
Guidance was a bit rocky. 8 months later, and no update, so it seems like he's done with his big-time trades. Sad Nefarious 10, or Intel Guy, is a user who stumbled upon a fortune as a junior in college. Unfortunately for the young scholar, his grandma passed away about 3 months before this. Of course, rest in peace to his grandma, but there was one small light in this sad situation, and that was that he inherited $800,000. Intel Guy was a bright person. He's a math major in college, and luckily doesn't have any debt since his parents are paying his tuition for him. He heard all about the goofy stories about people.
Lars, exactly. Could have saved 124 days and just looked at the 10, 20, 50 on the ally trend template. Well said.
Living lavishly and blowing their inheritance, and knew that would not be him. That's why he decided to throw $100,000 into a high-yield savings account and $700K into an individual stock of his choice, which was, of course, Intel. Intel Guy had a solid amount of due diligence, but there's no way to sugarcoat it. We all know that his portfolio is completely done for. After day 1, he was already down $33,000. The company's earnings report came out, and he was down another $173K. Intel Guy got back to us and let us know that he still planned on holding for a decade. These were the scariest days of his life.
Right. That's the mentality of a lot of losers. No offense, but whenever they get into a trade and it doesn't work out, it's okay. I'm just going to hold this for the next decade. right? I'm sure that a lot of people who are buying all of Jeremy's picks that are going down to zero, I'm pretty sure that that's exactly the mentality they have. Well, guess I'll just hold on to this for a decade. But in the meantime, they could have gone to anything, anywhere else, found that trend template like Lars was talking about, and done something good with it, right? Done something good with it. Parents paying. Now that is the problem. Yeah, for sure, Georgia.
And his parents didn't even know that he had already lost a third of his inheritance. He was stressing out, but ended off his post with, "Some of you guys have been really mean, but it's okay. I know I deserve it, but I'm holding. Forever, Intel will succeed." Since then, Intel's been looking a bit rocky, but hopefully Intel picks back up for him. Flash forward to today in December, and his Reddit account is now deleted, so take that as you will. User I lost 1 million is someone who has done just
Oh, that can't sound so good. This will be the last one. I love these stories, but we don't have to do this all day.
that. I Lost 1 Million learned about the stock market back in 2019. Things were all gravy until I Lost 1 Million learned about options in 2020. After scrolling through WallStreetBets, he became interested in the Bed Bath & Beyond stock. We all know now that that company is no longer with us, but I Lost 1 Million still had more money to trade with. He may not have made money with Bed Bath & Beyond, but he was now hooked on options trading. Flash forward 2 years, I Lost 1 Million was running out of money to trade with, so he sold his house and car. You might be thinking that that's bad enough, but he also maxed out credit cards, borrowed from the bank and lenders, and lied to friends and family to loan money from them as well. Cherry on top, he also
Dude, sounds like a compulsive gambler. Oh my gosh.
says he worked odd jobs that were shameful. His wife of 12 years had left him and took custody of the kids. I Lost 1 Million lost 1.03 mil, but worse than that, he lost his friends and loved ones. He cried for days on end and had to sleep on benches, under bridges, and in backyards.
And this, I talk about this a lot. Trading is not just the money, right? Trading is not just about the money. It can ruin your life. It can, and there's so many people who have bought into the AMD lie that it's going to go back up. There's so many people who have bought into the e.l.f. Cosmetics lie that it's going to go back up. There's so many people who have bought into, just name whatever lie that it's going Tesla, that it's going to go back up, right? Tesla's down 45%. It has to double to go back to break even from this point up here, right? It's not just about how much money you're losing. It's the, I can't sleep at night. It's the, I can't tell my wife about this. It's the, my wife is leaving me. She's taking the kids. I lost the house, right? There's so much more to it than that. But you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to participate in that side of trading. You don't. You can be on the winner's side. Of course, you're going to take some losses, but you're at least going to be trading with the trend when the trend is going in your direction. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, if you're holding it as it's going down, you're losing money because only price pays. Y'all knew that was coming because only price pays. Only price pays. So let's hear the rest of the story. This is awful.
After all of this commotion, you would think that he's ready to give up options trading for good. But actually, no. He's doing the exact opposite. He is absolutely determined that he will be able to make all his money back. He didn't lose everything due to his understanding of the markets. No, it was his ego, greed, and lack of discipline. He spent
all of that is true, and not understanding the markets.
The past 2 years dedicating himself to mastering every technical aspect of the market. Without wasting any time, he took the 25K he saved up and quickly made 13.4K trading SPY and 2.7K trading futures. After a few more days of trading, he took his Robinhood portfolio up to 55K. He posted,
Dude, that fast money, it's so addictive. Let's see how it ends up.
Some more of his positions, but hasn't updated us since October 10th. So not sure if he ever made that million back. Elon I Love You is a user.
All right, we're gonna wrap it there. Let me introduce myself real quick though. My name is Christopher Ewell. Where's my slide? There it is. My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. Now, I want you to rank this video in the chat right now out of 10 and subscribe if you haven't already. So let's see, where are you going to rank this one at? Don't let me influence you. Let me get the one from this morning up here real quick. Don't let me influence you. The one from this morning was an 8. If you haven't watched that, the replay will be immediately after this. This was with Kevin Davey, who is one of the traders I got to work a little bit with, talking about how he was a world champion trader. And I even shared an interview I did with Kevin Davey a few years ago. Okay, we got 7s. We got 8s. Nobody gets a 7. Come on now. We got 5s, we got 6s, we got 4s, we got 6.9s, we got, it's all over the place here. These are all over the place. Okay, I didn't expect this, but I appreciate this. I appreciate this a lot. 8 for entertainment value. All right, what's our consensus here? Because it's kind of all over the place. It's kind of all over the place. Donna says a 5. Jim says hola. 8, 6. All right, let me grab a screen cap of it real quick. Screen cap, got it. Let's put it over here. I will vote. I will vote. Do not put a super chat. No super chats. I will say 8. I'll agree with Strom because I really like these kind of stories. I really like these kind of stories. So I'm going to throw it as an 8. I'm going to throw it as an 8. And let's do this. Let's go shift gears a little bit and let's do today's member highlight. Salty Dog, who's here with us all the time. I am so stoked that Salty Dog is here. I wanted to share what Salty Dog's post was. This Friday will be 2 weeks since subscribing to Outlier and joining this community. That in itself is the biggest win. Chris has given me such an education, and the support I feel from the community is amazing. Becoming an Outlier is much more than trading. It's like being part of a family. I love hanging out with y'all during the week and learning from each of you, and thank you for being amazing. That made my day. That made my day. That made my day so much because that's one of the big things that I was recruited to do at Outlier is build the community aspect of this. And for Salty Dog to really feel like this is a home for him, a safe place for him, a place where he can learn and grow and, of course, make some money at the same time. I was so stoked to hear that. So Salty Dog, thank you so much. Gold star of the day, my friend. You are a rock star. You are a rock star, dude. You, my friend, are the rock star. Be sure to share your stories in the Discord. And the first rule of Outlier is you tell everyone about Outlier. And of course, you hit the like button if you haven't already. Now back to trading in the Outlier trading room. What is Outlier and how does it work? Well, Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you when investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much. And don't forget just making money. I haven't forgot about you. I didn't forget about you. All right. So back over to here. Which allows you to get into the stock before the Outlier move happens. And you can get it in the annual pass for just 82 cents a day over at outlier.com. And if you're in the middle of your trial there, just shoot us an email and we'll take care of the rest. Now, my style of trading using Outlier is called the golden ticket trading strategy, and it's where only price pays. And we need to see the SPY with the 10 under the 20, price under the 50 if we're being bearish here. Let's go look at the SPY. All right, so the SPY still has 10 under 20, price under 50. All of that is pushing south. This is a fact. Next, let's look at market breadth. Market breadth. So this measures how many stocks have buy signals inside of Outlier. And this has been getting weaker and weaker. And so market breadth is still bearish as well. The SPY still has a sell signal. Let's go to that real quick. The SPY still has a sell signal that came on February 13th. So the master key has a sell signal, a bearish market trend, a bearish market breadth, and most of the sectors are bearish as well. So that unlocks the next step. And I look to reduce risk before adding new trades. Now, in the essence of time, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't have anything that passed on my screener today, so we won't be putting on any new trades. Let me show you that real quick. This is my screener. Nothing new came through today. March 3rd, that was 2 days ago, was the last one that pulled in for me. And that's okay, right? I'm not looking for action. I'm looking for setups that I have confidence in. But that doesn't mean I'm going to win on everyone. No way. So look to reduce risk before adding new trades. We know we're not going to be adding new trades, so let's look to take these trades off. Now, remember, I had no expectation of the trade. I had no profit targets in the trade. I just had a plan to exit when one of my exit signals hit, which we have today. The half ATR, that's my stop loss, has been broken from entry. So let's go take a look at that on SCCO. SCCO, as you can see, had this big move up today, and Versace asked what my screener setting is. Here, I'll show you real quick. Take a screenshot of this. So it's positive backtest, 1 million shares average daily volume, a sell signal, less than a 5% move in the last 5 days, all market caps greater than 20%, or $20. Heat map's basically wide open, except if I'm going short, I don't want extreme fear. The heat map moving down and a red overlay. And then it's just the opposite for a bullish trade. So let's look at SCCO, right? What happened here? Well, Trump happened, and that's okay, right? If you position size correctly, it would have gone up. Now, what does position size correctly even mean? So this is the bottom of the pyramid, the top of the funnel, if you want to think about it. This is where I'm always at. And you actually can access this position size spreadsheet inside of our Discord in the VIP Investors Toolkit. And let's break down what this means here. So these are the 4 trades that I've taken this year. I want to put these on. I put in some example numbers over here. And so let's say your account balance was, I don't know, 25,000. And you wanted to risk, let's say 5% per trade. That works. And so this will give you an idea of what position sizing would work, whether it's in shares or whether it's in options. One thing to keep in mind is that between the last 2 trades I put on, it's 10 times smaller than the IBM trade. Let me establish what I mean here. My position size in SCCO is about 10 times smaller than my position size in AMD. What? How can that be? Where did you come up with this, Chris? Well, it's because we use ATR, the volatility of that stock, to come up with how much volatility there is. And so if there's a lot of volatility, we size smaller. If there is a small amount of volatility, we can size bigger. And you can see here, the average true range over the last 14 candles, that's just the default, is 39 cents. The average true range here was $3. So yeah, I'm going to trade 10 times smaller because of that. So that's why I haven't stressed, not in the least. Now, if I had a position size that was 10 times bigger, like I did in IBN, yeah, I would have a lot more stress. But that's why we have a plan. And you need to have that plan too. And your plan should always involve your position size. So going over here, I do need to close the trade because it is above my half ATR. But here's the thing. You could decide to keep it on because could it bounce and come back down tomorrow? For sure. For sure. But would that fit in your trading plan? Right? There was a point in my life where I would see this and I would say, I'm gonna let it work for another day. Maybe it'll bounce off this 10 EMA and come back down. I mean, the market's bearish. It's still in a bearish trend. Market breadth is still bearish. There was a point in my life where I would justify, hey, you know what? I'm going to give this just a little bit more time to work. I will never do that again. No way. No way. And that is the reason why I will be exiting this right now. And I'm okay with that. So SCCO, I am in the 92.5 puts. Current price on those is 420. That sucks, but that's also part of the game. So I'm going to close those in the business account on my other screen. Close full position. Let me see if I can get filled at 420. I'll try 420. Let's see. Probably not going to get filled. Let's try 415. Filled at 415. So I'm out of SCCO at 415. Let's update the Discord here, and we'll talk about what this did to my portfolio. I did not forget about you just making money. I want you to know that. I have not forgot about you. Let's talk about this. So let's go into the outlier trading room, and we're going to add in my close thing right here, my close statement here. Today is 3/5/25. Trade number 1 closed SCCO. 31 or 321, 92.5 puts for 415. And the reason was close above the half ATR, close above half ATR. And so let me do the math over here real quick. 415. So this was not a great one. I'll put it to you that way. This was a 40% loss on the option. But because I position sized it so small, it was a 3.87% impact. 3% impact. 3.87% account impact. And guess what my year-to-date returns are? Guess what my year-to-date returns are? They are down 64 basis points. Right? That has no impact on me. That has no impact on me whatsoever. This is the point of why you need to position size correctly. Yeah, I lost 40% on that one option, and that sucks. But I'm going to be ready for the next one. It has no impact on me. I might be down $45 in my account for the whole year, and I'm okay with that. Right? There's a lot of people who are really struggling right now, especially if they're buying AMD, where it's down a hell of a lot more than that. And that's because I trade risk first. Like I say, it absolutely could come back down tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, did I type in gain? Oh, I did. Right. Hang on. I get so used to winning that I forget every once in a while to type in loss. Oh, and that does need to be a negative account impact. Thank you. Thank you, Goran, for pointing that out. There. There. Did that hurt? Not really. Did I notice it? Barely. And so this is why I try and coach you through these things. I try and coach you through these things because we can never, ever, ever, ever predict what's going to happen. Mikey Mike says limit price. So Mikey Mike, the way that I do it, I will never do a market order. Never. So you would go to, in fact, let me clear this out real quick. You would sell by clicking this button over here, the bid button. And then if you aren't getting filled, you limit price it down. Some of them, they're limited to like nickels. Some of them, you can do at penny intervals. But just nickel it down until you get filled. And of course, you know, I didn't have an expectation. I'm not stressed about it. David says, thanks, Chris. This is so helpful. Yeah. Listen, I would love to give you a successful trade on this, right? And actually, this was a very successful trade. I successfully followed my plan. What to the T. To the T. We got filled at 4. Oh, yikes. I actually got a great fill price then. Sorry about that. Bjorn says, love your coaching. You know, I would love to give you winning trades like we had on the one right before this. But we don't know what the outcome will be. Only Nancy Pelosi knows. Her and Golden Oldie. So let's go over, start dropping your stocks in the chat because I won't be trading anything else today. I don't have any new setups. I took the one trade off. As you saw, I will survive. I will survive with a 64% loss for the year. Listen, we got a hell of a lot more year to go. A lot more year to go. I'm not even stressed. So just making money wants to look at CMRX. CMRX. I really hope CMRX. Yes. Okay, cool. The last super chat we got, which please don't send super chats. We don't need them. The last super chat we got, and I'll tell you why. I know most of you have heard this, but there's this one channel that I actually do like to watch. But when he does his live streams, he only talks to people who super chat him. And it just is so gross to me. It's so dirty. It's like, unless you pay me money, I will not speak to you. Blah. Give me a break. I am not that kind of guy. I am here for you. I want you to remember, I am always here for you. CMRX. And let's go an outlier for CMRX. Let me close a bunch of tabs real quick. There. CMRX. Did we not cover it? No, we don't. So we cover 2,500 stocks, but CMRX we don't cover. Okay, I see. You got a big gap on this one. So you got in at 281 in a previous breakout and was wondering, and also ERJ, we can do that too. So it's a huge breakout right here. So this looks like a gap type of situation. You know, this order block's gone. These two order blocks are gone. This order block is going to stay. Here's my opinion. First, draw a line on the bottom of this candle. If you get a close under this right here, consider this a gap and crap. Consider a gap and crap, and it would be time to get out. AT&T, this is what a gap and go looks like. A gap up, and then it continued on. It never went and never closed under that line right there from the gap. Celsius is the opposite. This was a gap and crap. It gapped up, went under this first candle, and came right back down. Give it a few days to figure out if it's going to go or if it's going to crap. But then I need you to figure out where you're going to get out. Right? Are you going to let the 10 EMA catch up to you? Are you going to say, okay, when it goes up in this order block, I'm going to get out? You've got to determine that because this order block could prove some resistance here. Let's see, how far back does this order block go? All the way back to 2021. So there are people waiting to get filled once it comes back in that order for years, 4 years. And you better believe they're going to be excited to do that. Let's do ERJ. And let's see if we cover ERJ. Oh, very cool. By the way, Mahesh and I had a chat earlier today. We had a outlier meeting, and outlier blocks are out of R&D. And next Monday, Mahesh is pushing an update on the market breadth to be our new charts. It's going to look really similar. You might not even notice that it's all that different, but they're supposed to load a lot faster, be a lot snappier, and it should be really nice. And then hopefully later this month, we'll have the main chart done. We're also going to default to the 1 year view. I know a lot of us had asked for a shorter time frame on the max view, or I'm sorry, shorter than the max view on the default time frame. So that should be coming here hopefully by the end of the month. But ERJ, let me go over to the 3 month here. Okay, so this has a bit of a gap and go as well, right? So this was earnings. It gapped up slightly. It wasn't a huge gap, but that's what a gap and go looks like. That's what a gap and go looks like. So again, follow that 10 EMA if you want to have a trailing stop. Follow that 10 EMA. And with the market still being weak, I mean, it's strong today, but the market weak overall. If the market were stronger, this would be even higher. So both of those are really outstanding trades. Let's take a look at the outlier on this. Buy signal came on March 4th. The greedy factor is growing right now, which is what you want to see. And then the industrials is actually getting more fearful. So you got a little divergence here, which might pull against it. But of course, know where your risk is at and keep that risk in check. So thank you so much for the super chat. You guys do not need to do that. I'm here for you. Never feel like you need to pay me a single cent. You are very, very welcome. The way you can pay me back actually is by telling everybody about Outlier. If you tell everybody about Outlier, that'll help me out. That's all I'm looking for. Chris is a man of the people. That's right. I don't trade the VIX. No, it's just not something I've ever gotten into. Could I? Sure. It's just not what I do. I went over RKLB, Rocket Lab, on the weekend video, and it's bounced back. Let's look at Rocket Lab. RKLB. Okay, it's still got a bearish trend going on. It definitely has bounced back some. It certainly has. Is this the bottom? It could be, but I'll tell you right now, this is not one I would be interested in buying long. If it came up to this 10, it might get rejected and continue back down. Can you explain what's happening here? Reasonably new, still trying to understand it. Can't. I mean, nobody can explain why the market is doing what it's doing. What you can do is read it. Right. I can't explain what's going on in Rocket Lab. I really don't know. There could be somebody who's like, it could be a dark pool, right? The mysterious dark pools. It could be some hedge funds. It could be some retirement accounts. It could be JP Morgan coming in and saying, we want to own Rocket Lab for whatever reason. I don't know. But I do know the trend is down. As you can see, the 10 is under the 20, price is under the 50. So mathematically, that is a bearish trend. And if we look over here in Outlier, RKLB, I want to look at the fear and greed score on this, on the Rocket Lab. And yeah, got a buy signal here, and that's why you still need to have a real grasp on what the market's doing, because even with this buy signal, it went on down, right? I don't know when it's going to change to a sell signal, but you need to always make sure that you aren't just blindly following buy and sell signals. But it gets pretty deep in the fear down here, as well as the industrial sector is getting pretty deep in the fear. So for me, this is more of a short opportunity than a buying opportunity. And a short when it comes back up to the 10 EMA. I'll tell you, there's a lot of traders who love when it comes back up to here, and they'll be waiting and watching to see if it'll bounce off of this. And they'll take that entry if it does bounce off, because they know, hey, rather than having $2 of risk, I might just have 20 cents of risk to find out if it's going to work for me. So that's my opinion on Rocket Lab, my friend. Antonio wants to look at TNXP. TNXP. Oh, we don't cover TNXP? Let me do it one more time just to check. TNXP. No, we don't. That's okay. We cover 2,500 stocks and we're adding more all the time. TNXP, very bearish move down here. This would be a gap and go. and a bearish direction, right? Your gap, and then it continued on. But it does have this close right here that might be above the 10 moving average. And I like to look at the 10 moving average a lot. That's my number one go-to line because it's the indicator of the short-term trend. Take a screenshot of this if you haven't already. That's the indicator of the short-term trend. That'll tell you if it's continuing on in the same direction, because you can see under here, it never once crossed under the 10, and now it looks like it might be reversing. If it does, it could go right back up, but we really don't know what's going to happen here. So TXNP, this is not one I would be buying or shorting right now because it is above its 10 moving average. So I wouldn't short it, and I wouldn't go long it because all the moving averages are pointing south. Arturo wants to look at Palantir. We look at Palantir almost every single day, my friend. Palantir. Your 10 is under the 20. Price is above its 50 right now. I know for sure, unless something changed today, Palantir got a sell signal right up here near the top and then fell off right near the bottom. Right. Got out right near the top. What I want to look at is the fear and greed map for this. Oh, wow. That was super snappy. Sweet. So it got ultra fearful. I'm sorry, ultra greedy, G42, 42 out of 50. And then it sold off and is now down here in the R16, R18 area down here. The tech sector continues to get more fearful. The stock continues to get more fearful, but it might have bottomed. It might have. I have to see. Just keep your risk in check on that, my friend. Joe, what's the general process that you have to go through to add stocks to Outlier? So Mahesh would be more willing to answer that question because I don't know the answer to that. I'm just the face of the company. I don't know all the details on the inside, but I know that it needs to have several years of data. And one thing that we've thrown around is adding more stocks to Outlier, but not including the heat map, because this right here, right, the overlays, that's just your 10, 20, 50, the trend templates we talk about. But it's this heat map right here that we just don't have enough data for a lot of stocks. I think we need to have like 3 or 4 years of data in order to capture what all that is there. So that's the best answer I can give you, my friend. You're going to give it another day, dude. You do you. I'm not going to stress on it. And if that works for you, if that works in your trading plan, that's awesome. Let's look at AMDA. AMDA. All right. Is that really a stock? AMDA? It certainly is. I don't know that stock. That's what I was asking. For ADMA. All I see is AMD. All I see is AMD. ADMA. All right. This one is definitely on a downtrend. Let's zoom in. And the heat map is getting a bit more fearful, but it may have bottomed on the fear right here. It may have bottomed. R26, it's up to R23 right now. The healthcare sector continues to be a little bit bearish. Your 10, 20, 50, they're all pointing south, but it looks like, yeah, it looks like it might be reversing right here. If it reverses, watch out for this order block out here around $20 or so. But this could be a good play. Could be a good play. Just keep in mind your risk. Short Intel. Short Intel. Yeah, I would rather short Intel. I wouldn't buy it. It hasn't quite crossed the 10, 20, 50 just yet. By tomorrow, mathematically, this should be down unless it's way up here. But then you've also got a order block around 1950 to contend with. So it's not a bad point. Not a bad setup there. Delta Airlines, DAL. JG wants to look at DAL. This is more of a shorting opportunity for me. 10, 20, 50. But if it closes above the prior day's high, that's an exclusion factor for me. And it's really close. Yesterday's high was 58.66. Today's close is right 58.77. Just putting that out there. That is a sign to me that I don't want to take that trade as a short. Let's look at it in Outlier. Wayne's watching and catching up slowly. He's just at Bath and Body Works. All right, we got a sell signal near the top up there. Right there. February 4th, like nearly the exact top. Sold off. Heat map was at G37 out of 50 on the greed. Sold off strong and hard. Now we've got the industrials are also getting fearful. Delta Airlines is getting fearful. It's in a bearish trend. Dude, this looks like a short setup to me. I like it. Nate says, you're asking where the SMA was. It's the key moving average trends. Yes. So this is one that Steve Burns put together. 50 moving SMA, but everything that I do is on the EMAs. The difference in EMAs and SMAs is that EMAs react faster than a simple moving average versus a exponential moving average. There we go. We found it. Alex wants to look at EOG. That's an energy stock. I know that. EOG. Over here, all that loads in. EOG. Ooh, order block city. Order block city. Okay. This one here. Zoom in just a bit more. There we go. Yeah, that sells or buy signal wasn't the best buy signal ever. And that's why you got to make sure you keep your risk in check, right? Even if we give you these signals, not every one of them is going to work out. Not every one of them is going to work out. So it's going down. The heat map shows that it is leaving the greed and getting into fear. It's hard to see because these values are so tiny right there. But the energy sector is getting more fearful. This is certainly getting less greedy, more fearful. And then it has these order blocks down here that you can't tell me order blocks don't work. Look at this. 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 I can't wait till we get the order blocks inside of Outlier here in a minute. Look at this. Look at this. This order block created in March of 2024. It went up, came back down, bounced once, bounced twice, came up, down, bounced again, create a second order block, bounced into there, bounced again, bounced again, bounced again. Can you actually look at this and legitimately say order blocks don't work? No, that is so cool. I can't wait for them to be inside of Outlier. So I'll tell you what, that's going to wrap it for us today. But I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell everybody you know about Outlier, because we are slowly taking over the world. That is our job, is to take over the world. And be sure to come back tomorrow, where outliers like us will save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. Now, YouTube is going to pop up a couple recommended videos. I recommend you watch one of them. And I also recommend you come to tomorrow's live stream, and I'll see you there. Talk soon.